me, Bala, and I've been working here for the last 2 years. And before that, I was with a couple of startups and did my engineering in electronics communication from Pockets in Ernakulam. And yeah, and today we'll be working with a bit of how to write a basic library for a wiki. So we'll start off with a basic library and basic imports, and before that we'll be checking out how to handle basic errors in Python. So we'll kick off with that. And I guess Atul actually in the last session he stopped with Git SSH and basic tools and stuff. So we'll be using Git along with our scripting. So you guys can get a feel of how we usually commit and stuff like that. Hands-on about it. So yeah, we'll start in a bit here. So I'll be continuing using Genie, so you guys can get used to it. And so this is the repo which Atul talked with. I've actually cloned and I put example.txt, and we'll be working with. So for starters, we'll start by reading the file. Okay, so the example.txt has a basic hello world in it. And you guys can create a file right now. I can wait for a bit. Just let me know once you're done with it, and then we'll head on to reading from the file, because we need this for the library. Just create a basic example.txt or whatever, So just for the sake of this, we'll call it example.txt, and put something in it, and then we'll check how to read it with Python. Just leave a message when once you're done. So shall we get started then? So I'm just gonna take Python on the shell itself. On the shell itself, and we'll just work from there. Yeah. So the file name is example.txt, right? So in Python we use a function called open to read from the files. And then, we get a handle. That's what we call it. We get the function response to a file, to a variable, and then we can read from that using a couple of arguments. So it goes like this: f is equal to, let's just give whatever the name for the this one variable, and as a string we give example.txt, and the open function actually takes in two arguments. Maybe this thing voice is breaking. Give me a second. Am I clear now? Am I like okay? I'll just continue. Just let me know if there's a audio issue.
Yeah, it's fine for me. You can continue. Like, if there is
Uh,
anything, it's okay.
all right, cool. So a file can be read, it can be written to, or it can be appended. So like now we have we have to give the options to the open function as an argument in order for the function to understand what we are doing with the file. So for to read the file it is R, to write it is W, and to append it is A. So since we are reading right now, we'll go with R. Yeah. So one thing we have to make sure is, so here right now I'm giving only example.txt because the file is in the file is in the same directory as where I am running the Python 3 from, right? So it's fine, but if it is in a different directory, then you have to give the whole path to the file. Make sure that these are in strings. Python throws really weird errors for that. We'll work on that. We'll work on how to catch these errors. So now we have F, and it's a text input output wrapper, and it's got function. It's got methods like f dot read, and it will show you what is in there. Then you can write, but then now we don't have the we didn't give the option to write with the open. You remember, right? We gave only example.txt comma R, so we can only read from the file, and we can't necessarily write, but I'll show you how to write to a file later. So when you read, you get like hello world slash n, which is slash n is like next line. So this is how this is the basics of reading from a file. And is everyone with me? Like you guys can try it out right now. All right. So we'll move on then. So this is the basics of reading from a file. Now, in programming, when it comes to programming, and no matter what language it is, most of your time is spent on debugging. And there'll be like a lot of errors, and then some bits you need to catch, you need to know what it is. And if that error comes, and like if you face that error, then you'll have to redirect your program, your script to do something else. So in Python, in such error handling situations, we use the try except method. It's very similar to if else, I believe. I believe. Am I clear? I believe that if else was covered, if else elif was covered in the second session. All right. Give me a second. Let me know if this is clearer. What about now? Better?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Uh, okay, so I believe that if else was covered earlier in one of the earlier sessions. So try except is very similar to if else. We'll just see how it works. Yeah. So we have example.txt file, right? But if I say that will show an error, no such file or directory foo.bar. So this is a file not found error. All right. So we can actually catch this with a try except. It's like as the name goes, it's got a try, and then you say f is equal to open like foo.bar. So what it does is it first tries this out, like if it works, then you say like if that function, if that line of code or the function or loop or whatever you're putting in there actually throws an error, then you say like you see an exception, like print no file. All right. So since there's no file, there's so this is how you try and catch. This comes in handy in when we are writing the wiki.
Is everyone with me till now? All right. So any doubts so far? Is everything clear? Yeah. So so the try except errors can also be used in imagine. Yes, file name to be given related to the directory. So like I mentioned earlier, I have the example.txt right here, right? And the, sorry. Yeah, this is where I am. You can see this, and the example.txt is right here. So I can start Python 3 from here, and the Python 3 is being started in the same directory. So right now when I give the file name, it I can just give the file name and read because it's in the current directory. But in case I am let's say the previous directory, okay, there's no example.txt here. I'm starting Python 3 from here, and I know that the file I need is inside the directory name my wiki. So I go and I say that my underscore wiki slash what was the file name, example dot text, sorry, example dot text comma, I'm reading it, or f dot read will give me this. And so if, while we are coding, we actually give either like this or from the home directory itself, because like the like many ways of handling this. um there are many ways of handling this. So yeah, we have to give it with in relative to the directory we are running the script from. Is that Does that cover your doubt? All right, cool, man. So yeah, so that's try except anything else, anyone? All right. So we are in my wiki, and we have example.txt and empty. Yeah, no. Okay. All right. So we won't be pushing the example.txt into the Git. We don't need it just for the purpose of this webinar, and just to cover those just two topics. Uh, so just text me, send a message over here if you guys are stuck anywhere, or like if you need me to slow down or anything. So let's go to building a library. Yeah, I guess you guys have already covered the basics of functions and everything, because we'll be writing functions, and I'll give you a small intro to libraries. What are they? So you guys are familiar with modules? Just leave me a yes or no. All right. So okay. So modules are something like so a library is would be all right. Okay. Okay, I'll just explain it anyway. So, module will be a collection of functions. Okay, so so what we would be writing right now would be a library come module, and modules we can import into your Python, your file script, and so like a lot of the functions which you will need, or like you might have to rewrite the same thing again and again. For example, like listing the files in a directory. Like if you need that in a Python script, maybe like you might be working on like hundreds of projects or something, and then you might have to rewrite the same code again and again and again. So instead of that, a lot of the functions and these functionalities and scriptings have been converted to packages of code as modules or libraries or whatever, modules or libraries. So we'll be writing something like that, and we'll just writing a small library to save a file with a wiki, and so we'll be reading from for the wiki, for each page we'll be reading from a file, and we'll be showing that, and then like when we want to save the wikis, we'll have a function to save the files. So we are gonna work on a file based wiki, uh, mini Wikipedia kind of a thing. uh, so like the app and all those things will be covered by Suru tomorrow. I'll be just working with the libraries, and so we'll be looking at functions to save a file with information about a certain topic. We'll be loading the file, and also we'll be checking what all titles or what all topics we have available with our wiki. All right. So we'll be using a library, like we'll be writing a very small library for that, and at the end of the session, we'll be looking at how to import the library into something that a project that you're working on, and then how to call it and like all the functions one by one and everything. All right, cool. We'll just create a new file, and first we'll look at first we'll look at how to yeah first we'll look at how to save a file. Okay, so what do you think are the steps to save a file? Like, you need to create a file, you need to write into it, then you need to save it, so we'll just go with creating and saving. Like, how do you think, take a guess on how, how do you create a file in Python? I guess you guys have already went through this, right? Read and write a file. So just give me a heads up on like how do you do it?
So yeah, I think Roshna has actually went through the whole topic of writing a file and all that. So I think everybody has an idea. Now, if anybody has an issue or a question, you can actually put it down. Feel completely free to ask a question. Even if it's in Malayalam, it's completely all right because, like I said, he's actually from Trivandrum itself, so he'll understand Malayalam. So you can ask him in any like in Malayalam or English, it's completely fine. You can use this kind of opportunity to kind of ask questions because he's in this field for a good amount of time. And I think you've already gone through the whole file, descriptors, and everything from Roshna. So yeah, Bala, I think you can actually
Feel free
continue.
to
No
ask any
problem.
doubts or
Yeah.
anything. We'll just move on because we are on clock. Okay, all right. So we'll start with creating a function. Yeah. Is it visible? It's probably visible, right? The screen.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. All right. So we'll just name it as save save topic or save page because we'll be working on pages, right? And all right. So this is how we create a basic function. And 1 second, let me just save this. All right. Okay. So this is a basic function, and we need, okay, so what all do we need to save a file? We need the title, right? Like, so if you're saving something about Python, then we need to know that the function needs to know that it's about Python. Or if it's about the moon, the function needs to know that it's about the moon, right? So that will be one of the arguments to the function. Let's just give us title. All right. And what else do we need? We need the content to the title, right? Like, what we are, like, what we want to save. Like, okay, we have the title. Now we need, like, what is Python, or what is the moon, or what's the sun, or, like, whatever we do. So, let's just call it the content. And all right. So we have the title and the content with us. Now we need a file with we'll use the title as the file, and then we'll give it the extension like .txt. So uh, so we have the title. So the file name would be equal to the title, which would be a string. And you guys know that to connect two strings, you just add them, right? And then we have a .txt. Cool. All right. And so we have the file name now. And now we need the path. So we'll do one thing. We'll go to we'll go to our directory, and we'll put all the pages inside a single directory called as pages. Ah. So I'm creating a like directory name pages here. So we have a directory name pages which is empty right now. All right, and so the page path would be, and it would be in strings, it would be pages. All right, cool. And yeah, so in order to, now we need the full file path. Okay. So now what do we need? We need to add the pages path and the file name, right? So that we have like what, pages slash whatever title dot text, and that would be the complete file name. And now this would give us the complete file path. Okay. We'll do one thing. We'll try this out without a function, and then later put this in. Or do you, like, shall I continue with this? Like, is it confusing? Is everyone with me right now? Any doubt so far? All right. Okay. So next up, we'll need to write. So we have the content, we have the title, and we have the file path. Now we need to create a file and write the content into the file, right? So like I said earlier, we have f.open. Now we don't have that file here right now, right? So anyway, like the file path, we have the file path. Okay, comma. Now we need to write. Okay, so that's a W, and but we don't have the file right now. There's no file created. The page is also empty. So W plus, so that it checks if there's a file, and if there is no file, it creates a file, and then it goes about its business. Okay. So now we have f, and we have a function, and we have a object with the file path with the file, and now we can write to it. We have the content here, so this is how you write to your file, and so now we have a function to save a page. All right. So this would act as a library if we were to import it to some other file and call this dot save page. Well, okay, we will check it out right now. Okay, saved it, and I'm creating a new file, and let's call it. Let's just say test dot py. Okay, we'll just test it out. Okay, so is everyone familiar with how do we import a module or a library? Perfect. Yeah. All right. So that's it. Like Neeraj has put forward, like we'll import, and since test.py is in the same directory as wiki.py, we can just directly say wiki. Like we don't use the wiki.py .py, the extension when you're importing a module. Actually, like in a whatever module later on you'll install into Python, you can actually like go to the directory and wherever you install the module, and you can check it out. And all those files would be a .py files. But then whenever you import it, never say that os.py or anything. So we just say that import wiki. Okay, so now we have wiki in yeah. So we have the wiki module importer here, and make sure that you have the file, there's a function name correct. Okay, else it'll show that the wiki module doesn't have any function. It'll throw an error. So let's just save a file. So let's just put in a content on. Uh, let's see. Let's go to Python Wikipedia. Where is it? Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, all right. Hey, very fast net. Okay, so we'll just copy the first para. Okay, we paste it here. Okay, so now we have a text, we have a content. Okay, so we'll give the title equal to Python because we are okay. And now we have wiki.py, right? So we know that the function is called a save page, and it needs a title and a content, right? And we have the title, and let's just name this content. We have the title and the content right here. Okay, so we just call it as wiki dot save page, and we have the title, comma the content. All right, this should actually create a file inside pages. I haven't run it yet, so pages is still empty. This should create a file inside pages which says with the content and the one second, we forgot something. Oh no, we did. Okay, with the file name as python.txt and the content with the content. All right. So let's just run it. Python 3 and where did I save this? All right. So we have the test.py here. So we'll just run Python 3 test.py. All right. So we haven't given anything to print or anything. So we'll just check out pages, and we have the python.text right here. Okay. Now we can try and print the what the content of it, and we have what are we copied and pasted as text. All clear? Any doubts? Cool. So you saw this, since so, when we run it, like it's not returning anything. We don't know if it worked or not. We'll just put a print statement over here. Okay. Once this is done, we'll just say the save. Now we try this out. Say saved. And so we can actually put a try except error over here, but then it's very unlikely because we are covering a lot of the stuff. But if we face some errors, then we'll just put it in. And so this is a function to save a page. All right. Now we'll write a function to yeah. Now we'll write a function to load the page what we have saved. All right. So let's say load page. And what do we need to load a page? Why don't you guys give it? Yeah, we'll share the source code. Like we'll share the GitHub repo. Right, Rohit?
Yeah, yeah, we'll be sharing it at the end of the session.
Yeah. Will you guys will get the whole code, and ping us if you have any doubt, even later. So right now, just if you have any doubts, just let me know here right here itself. We'll clear it as we go. And okay, so we need a function to load a page, right? So what do you guys need? What do you guys think we need to give the for this function as a as arguments? For the save page, we gave title and content as arguments. We are trying to load a page. What do you think would be the arguments? Source as in no, we are not working with HTML files right now. Like here a page. What we mean by a page is the text file. So in that sense, what you said is right. We'll be giving we don't need to give the whole uh, for a load page. Yeah, for the when you're trying to. Okay, one second. I'll show you the test file. So file path comma r is the argument for the open function in Python. We haven't got there yet. We are writing a function to load a page from wherever we have saved the pages from. So technically, we need only the title. The rest of the things we can. Yeah, you don't need the content also because you're loading the page, right? And you just need the title. So you need what? So basically, it's imagine you are on a page and you're clicking a link. The link would be the title over here. And when you click the link, the page loads and it'll show you the title and the content. Right. So we will be we'll just need the title name for the this one wiki.py load page. We'll just give us a title. Okay. And so it goes the same as this because the file name would be the same as in the title plus text. The pages path would be pages. So since we are using it on multiple functions, we can actually take this out. That's a local variable. Okay. Are you guys familiar with local and global variables? It's very simple. It's not as complicated as it sounds. But are you guys familiar? So a module is a collection of functions. So as long as you have a couple of functions, like right now, this is how you actually create a very basic module. So there are no other requirements. Yeah, library module. It's actually a collection of functions, functions which you want to use very commonly, or in multiple projects and stuff. You put it as a module aside. Okay, so since we need the pages path over here in load page also, we'll put it as a global variable. Okay. So since it's a global variable, it can be called over here also. Like like when the file path uses pages path variable as when the file the variable, it still gets called because like globally it's available everywhere, right? And here also we need the same code. Right. Actually, we need this too because we are opening the same file. Right. But the next line would be different. Okay. Can we import any Python file using import to another Python file? Yes, we can. You can import any Python file with functions or no functions. You have variables in there. Like you can get all that into another Python file just by using import. Handy, right? All right. So I'm going to continue. So anyone has a guess on what the next line would be? We're trying to load a page. So what would be the next line? When we saved a page, the next line was file.write. What do you think the next line, next line on this function would be? F.read. Yes. Yes. So read doesn't need any any content. So we'll just say sorry, read doesn't need any argument. It just reads whatever is there in the file. So since we are reading and we are getting something back, right? So when we are doing f dot write, we were not getting anything back which was like useful. So when we are doing f dot read, you are getting the content back. So we'll save it to content, and then we'll return. Okay. So what do we do? Here, we took the title, we added a dot text because all our files, all our pages are saved as dot text files. The next, we added the pages path to the file name so that when you read, you have the whole file path, right? Then you have the file handle, which is F. Name it so then like we are reading from it. So and then whatever we are reading, whatever the file, the Python, the script is reading, it's being saved into content variable named content. Okay. And then we are returning the content so that whenever you run the load page, actually you get an output back named content. Okay. The output back and it would have the content and we can put it in whatever variable and that also, we'll save it and then we'll go to test.py. So wiki.save page, right? Now, what did we do here? Wiki.load page, right? And we know that we have a file name, title named Python already saved. So we'll do need the title or just give it. And since we are getting something back, right, we are returning content over here. We're getting something back, we'll save it into output. Okay. Yeah, so it one second. Oh yeah, you got that. It need not be R plus. It should be just R. So you can actually use R plus. R plus actually enables reading and writing. Okay, so we need like we are just only reading from the file, right? Shane, you're right. I had to change to R. And good catch. So we need to So we don't need R plus. R plus is like if when we are like we have a single handle and then we read and write to it at the same time. But in this function specifically, we are reading like we are using it to only read. Okay. So now we'll just print the output. All right. So you done with me till now? All right, cool. So what do you think the output of test.py would be? We are writing a file. We are writing a content into a file. We are saving the file, and then we are loading and we are printing the output, right? So it should actually first print saved because we have print saved here, right? And then it should print the content out. We have the output over. We are printing the output over here. Let's see if that works. Oh, one second. Hmm. So this is what happens when you have a wrong indentation. So this is why we suggest using a editor. So that like all the tabs would be considered as tabs and so we can't mix four spaces and tabs in Python. Either you have to be consistent with four spaces or we have to consistent with tabs. Actually, let's just like switch it to since everything is yeah everything is on tabs. Just this should work. Yeah, so that worked. I'm used to using tabs. I don't want to like keep pressing the space key. Anyway, so we have the saved over here, right? And whatever the content it returned. All right. So we have successfully actually saved a file and loaded a file. So what? And imagine we need to list all the titles in what all topics we have. Okay, so right now we have only Python, right? So imagine I'm we are actually adding a couple more of topics, and then because this is going to be online, and people would want more topics, right? So imagine we need a list of whatever topics that is actually available. So we'll actually write a function for that. Mm, So list topics. Any idea how to do it? Anyone? Any clue? It's okay. So to list topics, we are going to use another module named import. OS. So we'll import the OS module. It's a very it's so Python's got a lot of modules in a standard libraries, and so this is one of the standard libraries. It'll all since you guys all installed Python, it'll already be there. So you guys don't need to install the package or the module separately. Okay. So OS has a lister method, which if you give it the file path or the directory path, it will tell you what all files are there in it. Okay, I'll just show you that. So we are here right now, right? So we are giving Python 3. We are importing OS. So OS dot list dir, and we have pages over here, right? See, got us a text. So like as a list. So Python dot text is the first and the only element in the list. Imagine I'm going to pages and I'm creating a few more files, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and Python text in this. Python 3 import OS and OS dot. So yeah, OS dot. So see Python 534. So there's no specific order in which they return the text files. So return the list, but then you have gives us a list. Okay, clear? We're going to use the same thing in our script. Clear? So we have a list of files or pages equal to os dot list dir and pages return pages. Files or pages is equal to the key dot. What is the function name? List topics. List underscore topics. Yeah. Now we try test, right? Test what we want. Oh wait. Oh, we didn't print it. 2 pages. See, we have this. All right. So I'll just remove the rest of the unnecessary files which I created just for the testing. Now we run this again, and we are just python.text. Okay. So, but then you see this like if someone is using your if a user is actually using this, you don't want them to see it as a like python.text or anything. We'll add one more wiki page. Okay, let's add what should we add? Let's go to moon. Yeah, and I'll just copy. No, not you. I'll just copy the first para. And that's a moon. And we change the name to moon. And we change this to moon plus. Yeah. So now we have python.text and moon.text. But then we don't want people to see it as a list and stuff. Are you guys familiar with Python? This one list.join. So list.join can be used to um, join imagine you have a list named list with one. Let's make it strings. All right, we have this. So if you okay, all right, let's topics function. All right, so So imagine you need a 1, 2, 3, 4 and a single string, and you need to combine them, or you need to separate them by commas. Okay. So list has a method called as join, which we can use it like this. Like I wanna like join them with a comma in between, and so this is how we use it. Now there's a single string with 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is this is a list with zero, like at zero position is one, first position is two, second position is three, third position is four. All right, so this is how we join a list, and I'll show that over there. We'll put it over there. So we have, so this is a list, right? Pages is a list. So, and we'll need to return it as comma separated article names, right? So what do we do? We'll save it into a variable name this, and then same syntax as earlier, comma dot join, and the name of the list, which is pages. And we'll return out. Okay. And we'll try this out. Now see, we have python.text comma moon dot. Now, isn't this a bit more better, like, for users when they see it? Right. So we made that change in this one. And so we have, so this is now basically functioning as a library. We have a, we have a file we have a library with save page, load page, and list topics functions. All right. And we can call it a library because we can import it and we can use its save page, load page, and list topics as three of them. And as a bit of an optimization, since we are already using OS, okay, so is everyone clear up until now? Any doubts? Like you guys want to check out a piece of code, like I can go there or anything, like anything at all? Feel free to ask. So module OS has a lot of functionalities. Here we are using it to list the directories list the files in a directory. If we are going to work with Python extensively, then it is very good to know its standard libraries, and OS module is a very important part of it. I'll show you one more part of it. To join the path. Here we are actually actually having multiple variables and stuff, right? So, but it's very easy to combine the path, and like the situation also, like this script actually works in Python. uh, this script actually works in Ubuntu properly, but then anyone on the Windows machine actually can see the path. This it would be like this in Windows. The slashes will be backslashes, not different slashes. So OS module actually has a function to take care of that also. So its use is very extensive. You actually go and check it out. It's miscellaneous operating system interfaces. It's got a lot of stuff in there. Like, see, these are all functions. These are all things that you can call. It can be used to create a path, create a folder, like delete a folder, remove files, and a lot of stuff. So, feel free to check it. Like, it's a standard library, so it's there in the python.org uh, this one, uh, website. Anything else? Any doubt? It's anywhere you guys are a bit foggy on. All right. So okay. We'll right now we have there's a Git repo, and we have these all these changes made, right? So we'll just ignore the example.txt. I'll delete it. So get status, and we have pages test.py and wiki.py, and we'll add these and push it to Git for now, and then we'll like there are a few more changes that I would like to teach you, like tell you guys, and then we'll make that, and then we'll make a new commit. All right. So first we'll add the Git. We'll first add the wiki.py. Okay. So we'll add on a commit -m and adds library to save, load, yeah, save, load, and list titles or list pages. Okay. Now we can go and check git log. Adds library to save, load, and list pages. Okay. And now if you check its status, we have pages and test.py. Right. We'll add pages as a pages directory and get commit -m. And what do we have in pages? We have pages. Um, add directory for wiki pages. All right. Now we do this. We have test.py, get test.py, get commit -m, test file, adds file to add script to test wiki library. Okay, we don't need bycache. So now we push it. So my assistant and everything is already set, so it just directly pushes to the repo that have built for this. We'll share the link in the end, so you guys have all the data. Okay. Now, like earlier, Shaheen actually asked regarding OS module, right? I'll show you one more piece of it. So this pages of like I told you earlier, pages and / actually works only in Ubuntu. The same script would crash in Windows because the paths are not are not separated with /, but they're separated with backslashes. So OS has a function called a method called as path that has a method called as join. Okay, and this actually takes in two arguments. And imagine we have the same scenario here. Okay, we have the pages path and okay, let's say pages. Okay, and then we have the file name equal to python.txt. Hmm. So right now we are actually using the um, pages and okay, we have the file name as file name as python.txt. So right now we are actually like using string manipulation to add them using a plus sign and stuff. But instead of that, we can actually import os.path.join, and what do we have? We have the pages path, right? Pages path and file name in that order. Like if you mix up the order, it will mix up the order, like order of the name. So we need pages / the file name, right? This will return pages / python.txt. And if it is in Windows, it will automatically correct. It will detect that it is Windows and will automatically correct the this one, the file path. So it is this much efficient in that way. So it's just much Pythonic in that way. So instead of pages path plus file name, we'll just say file path is equal to os.path.join. What is it? Pages underscore path comma file name. Right. And the same thing goes here. This is another use of the OS module, and this is much more efficient than adding two strings and then reading it. Much more memory efficient. So you can see if it is working. Okay. Yeah, it's still working, right? If you want, we can actually add another uh, data, but then it's just working. You guys can check it out. And so this is another use of os.path, and it actually, like I said, it actually resolves the issues between the script running in Python, sorry, Ubuntu and Windows. Yeah, so that's pretty much about it. Um, yeah, so we have a library and we have a file to play around with it. You guys can create libraries for a lot of stuff. You guys can create a calculator library and write a Python file to call the files from that. And something similar is a SciPy, which has a lot more of mathematical functions in it, much more efficient, memory efficient. So it's got its own merits. So this is it. Any doubt? Anything you guys want to check play with? If there are no doubts, then I would like to add, I told you that we have to use try and accept also in this. I'll tell you a scenario, but tell me if any doubts. Okay, so let's just push this to we have this modified wiki.py, right? So get wiki.py, get commit -m. What do we do? Uh, change changes changes file path method. Okay. Now I am pushing it. Now it's safe in GitHub. So I'll show you guys one more thing. So we have this, right? We have the load file. And imagine we actually gave something which doesn't have, you don't have a file data on. Okay. File not found error. Okay. So in order to catch this, so we faced this error before, like when I showed you an example. So we can catch this with try except. That would go like this. The error is occurring in line 17 in load page. Okay. So this is load page. And this would be line 17. You can see here, line 17 out of 26. Okay. So what do? We say try this out. Okay. Except if that doesn't work, sorry, this also comes in there. That doesn't work, content equal to no information on this topic. What say? This works? So I'm still checking if they have anything on apples. Why don't we have anything on apples? See, no information on this topic. So this is one way of handling this. The other way is like very messy. If we have to use if else and no one really uses that. So try except there's one application of try except. So if you guys have noticed, what happens is it actually catches whatever error it is. Except when you're giving except without any name of the error, it catches whatever error this throws. So imagine we are adding something else. We are trying to add a number and a string, or like we are trying to get something out of a list. Let's just try and add a number and a string. We have 1 plus and 2. Okay. See, even that file gets cached up. One second. Okay. So even that error gets caught up, but that's not the error that we are trying to catch, right? So if you guys remember, the error name was file not found error. So what we do is we copy this and we say that I just need this one to be found. Okay. Oh wait, it actually shows the okay, one second. Okay, so right now what's happening is it's not catching the this one word file not found error, but it's actually catching only it's not catching the type error file this one error because we actually mentioned what error we need to accept out of it. All right. So this is how we actually this is a very basic way of handling errors in Python. So now we have a changes made. Get add wiki.py get commit -n adds um, adds error handling. Okay, now we have these. Yeah, we have these commits, and then we push. So any doubts? We are wrapping it up. Any doubts so far? This is how we actually build a very basic library. So this is how you build a library for a personal use. But then if you want to build a module to be submitted for the for the global for everyone to use, we have something called as the Pip packaging, and it's got a few instructions that you got to follow for your module or package or libraries to be validated. You guys can check it out later. It's yeah, this is the one. There's this installed. Just check. Python creating packages. Yeah, there's a packagingpython.org. So they have they have a set of instructions on how to create packages and how to create projects and stuff like that. So you have to create a setup.py. It's not very complicated. It's actually very simple. You guys can go through it and let us know if you catch any doubts on the way, sometime later. So right now regarding whatever we covered, you guys have any doubts? Everything clear?
Sure, you guys can take this time to actually ask any doubts we have. I think it's time for us to wrap up as well. So thank you, Bala, for kind of explaining how to create a proper library and all that. So for tomorrow's topic, we'll be using this particular library to create a Flask app or the Flask web app. So I hope that you guys can all go ahead. I think Bala, can you actually provide the
Yeah.
GitHub URL for this wiki so that students can actually use it if they want to?
Yeah, I'll do that right now.
Okay. I think yeah, SSH or the HTTP. I think anything is
Yeah,
fine.
I'll copy them both.
So yeah, you guys can actually go through the code. He is available in GitHub, so you can actually find him there. And yeah, so I guess thank you, Bala, for this awesome class. This was very good, very informative as well. So I guess I hope you guys would do your small homework so that you can get this thing done so that by tomorrow we'll have a Flask app up and running. So I hope you guys enjoyed your particular session, and I'll see you guys tomorrow at the same time. Thank you.